cold is a deadly and unforgiving force. There are some places on Earth where cold exposure to human skin can result in hypothermia, followed by death in just a few minutes.
Cold kills people regularly. Cold is an insidious killer.
But there is one man who claims to have developed a unique ability to resist sub-zero temperatures.
Cold is merciless. The hard nature is merciless. It shows you where you are, what you are.
Having performed all over the world, Wim Hof's astonishing cold endurance feats have left experts baffled.
How Wim manages to achieve what he achieves is a mystery to me.
Wim says his physical achievements are down to mental strength.
I'm able to control the body through just the power of the mind.
Now, his claims are about to be put to the ultimate test. 120 miles north of the Arctic Circle lies one of the most extreme environments on Earth. Wim will travel here to attempt to run a full 26-mile marathon in freezing winter temperatures, having done no physical training whatsoever. And to make things even more difficult, he will be running almost naked.
A marathon in itself is an endurance feat which most people will never achieve. The idea of doing that in temperatures which are similar to those inside your freezer at home in just a pair of shorts and sandals defies belief.
It is a challenge that will push the limits of his body, his mind, and his relationships.
I don't take this from you anymore.
No discussion anymore. No discussion.
I love Wim, and we don't want to lose him.
Does Wim have a unique physiological gift? Has he trained himself to withstand life-threatening temperatures? Or is he just an eccentric showman? Is Wim Hof really the Iceman? It's a cold midwinter's day in Amsterdam. Former postman Wim Hof is preparing himself for the biggest challenge of his life.
Sometimes I really make deep reflections just to be able to see what's inside myself. And for that, I sometimes confront myself, for example, with the next challenge, which is the marathon.
The Arctic Marathon will be the culmination of an obsession that has driven Wim for more than 30 years.
I'm 50 years now, almost, in 2 months. So I want to get anything which I can get out of the basket, which is called life. I want to get it out.
Wim has spent his whole adult life in pursuit of extreme physical and mental experiences.
The effect of the adrenaline, dopamine, it's like dying a little. I mean, it's like drugs.
Most of Wim's challenges focus on exposure to the cold. This exposure has become a part of his daily routine.
I do it at night because I don't want, people looking at me. I just want to do it on my own. It's a very personal experience and a very good one. Yeah.
Every winter night, when most Amsterdammers are inside keeping warm, Wim heads down to the freezing canal close to his apartment.
If you immerse and expose yourself toward cold and in cold, it's like cleaning the garbage within myself. Shit, problems, this and that. That's the way for me to answer toward it. Then I feel clean again. I mean, feel alive. And I really need that catharsis, that cleansing going on. There is no other way than this way for me.
But Wim's ritual immersions in icy water are not just for pleasure. Scientists believe that regular exposure to cold can improve the body's ability to tolerate low temperatures.
When Wim is repeatedly exposing himself for these cold temperatures, that induces a training effect and causes an adaptation of the body not to react to the cold as it would on an average person.
Wim's Arctic Marathon will not only test his ability to withstand prolonged exposure to extreme cold, it will also put his belief in the power of mind over matter on trial. Wim plans to attempt this arduous endurance challenge with no physical training.
There is no training prior to this marathon, only thinking about it. I really want this to be an example of mind power. Simple mind power. See what mind power can do.
Instead of running or going to the gym, Wim opts to prepare for the marathon at his local abattoir. The freezer is kept at similar temperatures to those he could face in Finland.
We are going into the deep freezers, minus 25, and if it closes and can't open, accidents can happen. It's dangerous. It's really dangerous. So please, kan jij erop toezien? Ja, wij met z'n allen inzetten. Bedankt. Once I get into the zone, then it will be all right. You need a little bit of adaptation, but then once it is over there, I feel good. Body is able to respond to the cold impact.
Wim needs to keep his body moving to adapt to the freezing temperatures.
At minus 25 degrees, it is difficult to breathe deeply without having a cold shock. The inside of your nose begins to harden. And so then you have the problems of frostbite eventually, where the flesh literally freezes. Wim doesn't seem to suffer these reactions. The abilities for humans to adapt goes a certain way to explaining the things that Wim does.
Wim's ability to withstand the cold seems extraordinary. Is he a medical anomaly, or could his theories about mind power really be true?
The cold impact is a very honest, noble force. It shows me where I am. And if my mind power wants to work, besides of just philosophizing, then I need to test it. And I can test it here, right now. In Finland, to the utmost.
Dutch daredevil Wim Hof is planning to run a half-naked marathon in freezing Arctic conditions that would kill any normal man. Experts are baffled by how this self-styled Iceman, who says that he was first drawn to the cold in his teens, is able to defy extreme temperatures.
It all began when I was quite young. I had a brother who went hitchhiking to India. And I began to look into different traditions, cultures, disciplines as well. I was looking for spirituality, couldn't find it in the society. Until I found out about the cold when I was 18. 100 meters from my house was a layer of ice on the water, on the surface. I felt attracted. After just 30 seconds of immersion in icy water, I found my inner power, inner satisfaction, inner relief, and inner answer. And from there on, I just lengthened the time. I repeated it every day, and I combined it with all kinds of breathing techniques.
Wim claims he drew inspiration from an obscure Tibetan Buddhist practice called Gatumo, or inner fire. He believes these breathing exercises help him to combat the body's instinctive shock response to extreme cold.
It enables people to heat up in the body by concentrating by the mind, and it makes the body warm. It's like pushing a button.
Wim has dedicated his whole adult life to conquering the cold. Marketing himself as a modern-day superhero, he manages to earn a living traveling the world to perform ice endurance stunts.
Let's get Wim Hof on good energy.
So Iceman is actually, that's my working title. Yeah, what do you do for a living? Yeah, I'm an Iceman. That's the way I'm earning money. Putting bread on the table.
Wim has broken many world records for ice endurance.
I was growing up with Batman and Superman and Spider-Man, but I'm the Iceman. Yes, it's an image. It's who I am, yeah, on television.
Wim doesn't just do his stunts for the sake of TV cameras. Clad in just his trademark shorts, he has embarked on a series of personal cold endurance challenges,
Iceman.
including attempting to climb Everest and Mount Kilimanjaro.
Congratulations, Iceman.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've done it.
When he isn't traveling or performing, Wim lives in a modest suburb of Amsterdam with his second wife Carolina and their 6-year-old son Noah.
Being with Wim as a person in family life is very difficult because he wants to have the peace and the rest of the family, but he can't because he's too restless for it.
I'm going to use records in order to make it real.
As he approaches his 50th birthday, Wim has no plans to wind down his extreme activities. His determination to keep breaking records is starting to cause conflict in his family life.
But you're always going away, finding another record, and I know you give us a reason, this is your way, and it's okay, I respect it. He says, I'm searching for peace, but instead of that, he's going to do a record. He's searching for the line between life and death. And that's always a difficult point for me, because there is a no, and he's only 6 years old, and he loves his father very much. I love Wim, and we don't want to lose him.
And no discussion anymore.
You don't have to tell me.
Discussion.
Yeah, but you don't have to tell me.
Words, blah, 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 like parrots.
Yeah, like you.
No meaning.
Like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just run and swim and do all kinds of stuff.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
The family are heading to Poland, where social worker Carolina has set up a project of her own that's almost as ambitious as Wim's marathon. Carolina plans to create a refuge center for Eastern European children who have been living on the streets.
The plan is to make this whole area like a little village for children. But that means a lot of money and a lot of work and a lot of heart.
Carolina has lots of jobs for Wim to do at the center. But he decides to take advantage of the -5-degree temperature here to continue his own unique brand of marathon preparation.
It was my idea to run this marathon, but I'm not training in the general sense. I got my own unorthodox way of dealing with a challenge. I'm training the way I do it.
The cold is not our enemy. The cold is our best friend because it learns you to retrieve control over your body and your mind.
Wim's unrelenting fixation with the cold is putting a strain on his marriage.
Come on, all right? Just
You know, Wim, I'm here to make a project.
Oh, yes?
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Already 4 years. And that's my struggle. You have your thing. You're here for yourself. I'm here for the project, okay?
yes?
This is from the bottom of my heart.
I'm not arguing about it. I only helped you like 35 times driving and working
That's okay.
every day.
You're happy with it. You just explain what you are doing. Leave me alone. I have my thing, okay? That's it. More. There's nothing more to it.
Now, this is a thing going on already for years. And every time I do a challenge, I get things, you know, clashes. And yeah, I mean, I don't need that.
It's part of Wim. Actually, the tension is almost always there. Although with events like this, it's getting worse. All the mess, everything what's going around in his mind comes out.
With just 6 days to go before Wim's marathon attempt, the family set off by road for the Arctic Circle. But Wim's behavior is becoming increasingly difficult. It's -9 degrees in the middle of the night on an isolated road in Poland.
Can I, Caroline?
Yeah, you can go. Just avoiding this car. Okay. Yeah.
Wim's obsession has got the better of him again. He abandons his family in the car while he goes for a barefoot run.
He's crazy. No.
You don't really think that, do you?
No.
Or do you?
Sometimes I think he's crazy. I think it will do him good, because he's with a lot in his mind.
The Arctic Marathon is Wim's biggest ever challenge. Confronting his fears has a powerful effect on his mind and body.
Fear is a natural process, a natural signal. If you ignore fear, then you're not dealing with the situation as it is. You need to have fear, respect of what is going to happen. If you don't respect it, you can't deal with it. When people are in fear, in danger, they sometimes shit.
Man has got to do what a man has got to do.
It's not shitting because of fear. It is just getting rid to get ready for the situation.
After 4 days on the road, the family arrive in Finland. 120 miles north of the Arctic Circle, it's a chilling -25 degrees. Like everyone else, Wim is wearing specialist clothing to protect him from the cold. But in just 2 days' time, he'll be running almost naked. With the marathon looming, there is still friction between Wim and Carolina.
Tension in Poland is not something which is from the moment in Poland. That's something which is present in Wim all the time.
Always when I begin a challenge, emotional things come up which have been hit away in some way or in another. They come out. The ugliness comes out. I also want them to see what I'm at, who I am also. Not only Daddy, also Iceman.
The Ulas region of Arctic Finland may look like a winter wonderland, but it's a potential death zone. Temperatures can plummet extremely quickly and without warning. Most of this harsh, uninhabitable environment is only reachable by snowmobile, so Wim has hooked up with a local guide.
So, we are here now.
Okay.
Yeah, on the Quertunturi mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 446, the top over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wim plans to run the marathon on compacted snowmobile tracks. He's relying on his guide to locate the optimum course.
Okay.
Now we will go down.
Yeah.
And you will see the start of the marathon.
Wim's greatest concern will be how to maintain his energy to keep out the cold, whilst also coping with the physical demands of running a full marathon. This will be the toughest ever test of his mind power theories.
Any challenge I took, you always exert 100% of yourself. This is going to be a big challenge, and it's unknown. You guys are ready?
With some suitable tracks located, Wim decides to test the terrain.
Marathon needs tactics, strategical thinking, and dividing the energy and power, especially when you run in an environment like this.
Ready? Go!
Wim plans to run wearing sports sandals to give him some traction on the snow. But his toes, like the rest of his body, will be fully exposed to the cold. A marathon in normal conditions is a grueling challenge even for fit athletes who have trained for many months. But Wim has done no physical training. He'll be battling both fatigue and the physical effects of prolonged exposure to extreme cold.
If you go running in the cold, then your limbs are heavier. It is difficult to take a breath. The air is so cold that your airway tends to constrict, and it can be painful and cooling in itself to increase your respiratory rate. Skin will freeze. Skin will freeze at those temperatures. It's as simple as that.
If you or I would start running in that kind of conditions, I think we could not last for longer than 15, 20 minutes.
As Wim is testing the terrain, there appears to be a problem.
You have to see this.
Yeah.
Look.
I see.
The way I get into it, I will lose so much energy.
Yeah.
I can't run. It's not possible.
And here, yeah, it's because I've been driving just before.
Look. This is what I do. I slide. I slide. I slide. I slide. I slide. And it takes energy. And it's going to be double. So if I want to do the marathon for real, I gotta do it on hard surface.
Yeah, we will do that.
More icy.
No problem. No problem. Look.
As Wim contemplates this latest setback,
But if I give...
the start of his marathon challenge is less than 2 days away. It's dawn on the day before Wim Hof's Arctic Marathon Challenge. Having done no physical training, Wim plans to rely on the power of his mind to overcome cold and fatigue. Today, he will attempt an extraordinary final act of preparation. He plans to swim in freezing water underneath a 2-foot thick layer of ice.
I'm cold already.
This brutal cold encounter will prepare Wim's body for the ordeal to come tomorrow.
This is part of my preparation and confidence. There is a willpower. This willpower makes me able to direct the mind and to release energies in my body. And this is going to happen when I do the marathon.
5 years ago, Wim set the world record for diving beneath polar ice at 57 meters.
People have been underwater for that amount of time before and are simply pulled out dead. To be immersed in cold water is actually very, very painful. The extremities become incredibly painful, as though they're being crushed very, very quickly.
Although today's dive is not as long, a full medical team are in attendance.
Joo, mie vain hunteerasin tuossa, että joo, se on tosi vaarallista. Koska just, että sille tulee paniikki. Ja lämpötilaerot on suuri.
The water is as cold as it can be without freezing. Wim focuses his mind to prepare his body's reaction to the extreme cold.
Throughout the years, I've learned to master some breathing exercises. I can make contact easily with my nervous system. There is a spine, there are potentials in the spine. The heat and the cold regulative processes are there. If you learn to reach these potentials, then you can click on the thermostat.
I have a split thought about what's going to happen today, because on one hand I know he can do it, but at the other hand, yeah, you never know.
Wim is almost at the end of his preparation process.
How's Wim, Carolina?
Yeah, tensed. Doing fine, but tense now.
How long to go now?
2 minutes, I think.
I'm ready if everybody is ready.
Yeah.
The average person in such cold conditions, when immersed in water, will go through a cold shock reaction. They will gasp, they will tend to inhale some water. Drowning is the usual cause of death. The body's normal physiological reactions should almost prevent this from being possible.
Nice encounter again with the cold and the dive. Okay, we do the marathon now?
Goed gedaan.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. I love you. Thanks, Nero. Now we go to the... have a couple of beers. And then we are into the marathon.
How are you feeling about the marathon right now?
Yeah, a lot better. There's a burden off. A stone fell off myself. And now we can just focus on, a bit of running. Just 50 kilometers.
Following the ice dive, Wim's pulse rate and blood pressure should have increased dramatically. But his readings reveal an unusual ability to control his physiological responses.
Blood pressure, pulse and oxygen saturation. So it's almost same after and before. It's amazing. Wim is very strong man. Very good.
Scientists are puzzled by Wim's seemingly superhuman ability to withstand the cold. In 2007, at the Finnish Institute of Occupational Health, Dr. Oksa carried out a series of tests on Wim. He was submerged in a pool of cold water to monitor his body's response.
And your core temperature is 37.2, which is about 0.3 degrees higher than it was when we immersed you. You have a very good adaptation. For an average person, when you're immersed into 8-degree water, you are not able to tolerate it for, let's say, 2-3 minutes. For an average person, a couple of minutes would be like torture. Do you have pain?
No pain.
Okay, tingling?
Yeah, a little bit tingling.
Numbness?
No.
Wim endured a remarkable 25 minutes in the cold water. The test was halted when his core temperature eventually began to fall.
What's the core temperature?
Now your core temperature reached 36.5. We will end the experiment.
To run his Arctic marathon, Wim will be exposed to temperatures of -16 for over 5 hours.
I think that Wim's ability to endure these extreme cold temperatures is because both of his training in the cold and his mind power. Because Wim has these mental and physiological unique capabilities that makes him an extraordinary person.
The day of Wim's biggest ever challenge has arrived. Will his extraordinary abilities to withstand the cold be enough to overcome a full 26-mile marathon over ice and snow, wearing only a pair of shorts and having done no physical training? With just 2 hours to go, he undergoes a thorough medical.
Heartbeat was around 60.
Oh, okay.
You have to be running all the time. If you stop, you get hypothermic really easily, and then you get the problem with the skin, with the lungs, with the heart, and you may die. So it is really dangerous situation.
To make matters worse, Wim has also sprained his ankle whilst testing the terrain.
How does it feel?
Of course, it's a risk, huge risk.
Mm-hmm.
You're almost naked.
Yeah.
You have to keep on going.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your temperature will come down.
Oh yeah.
Local media are gathering at the start line. There is a sense of disbelief that a half-naked man plans to run for hours exposed to the elements. In the warmth of his car, Wim is doing his final breathing exercises.
Are you worried?
Yes, I am worried, yes. Because I know all the other things Wim has done with the cold, but he never ran a full marathon. It's a long way, and only a short, so... Yeah, I'm a little bit worried, yes. You never know what can happen. And I'm concerned, of course, what Noah will see.
Suddenly, Wim emerges from his car for a final preparation ritual.
Oké. Jongen. Even kus.
With no fanfare, Wim is off. The marathon has started. Wim must maintain a good pace to keep the cold at bay. But every step he takes forces freezing air deep inside his lungs.
In minus 16 degrees. The first danger, of course, for Wim would be the risk of frost bites in the fingers, toes, feet and hands, in the extremities. That's a real danger. So if the running would take long enough, there's a risk of hypothermia, which would eventually incapacitate him.
After an hour, Wim is a quarter of the way through the course. He's not only battling the extreme cold, but also fighting fatigue.
The effort, both mentally and physically in running a marathon, could draw his mental resources away from his control of his body temperature. Yeah, your core body temperature needs to be maintained within a very narrow temperature band of only a couple of degrees C before you've actually got a medical problem.
After 2 hours at temperatures of minus 16, Wim has set a strong pace. He's almost halfway. So far, he's been within his comfort zone, but now he's beginning to suffer.
How you doing, Wim?
My legs feel a bit heavy, but just keep on.
Wim has been exposed to the cold for 3 hours. In the support car, concern is growing.
We can see he's tired. I think that the coldness coming inside now. And he needs much more energy now. Hopefully, he can manage.
The longer Wim's energy is depleted by running, the harder it becomes to sustain his mental battle against the elements.
You need energy to withhold the cold out. Don't go with the fatigue. Don't go with the suffering. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to bring myself back with my mind. Here I can do something. This is the lesson.
Every marathon runner knows that they can hit the wall at any time. The toughest moment of the race, when their body starts to seize up. But for Wim, the wall is even tougher to get through.
I can lose track of my power. And it just goes away like a hole in a bucket full of water. It just goes out, the energy. And when the energy goes out, wow, then the cold comes in.
Suddenly, there is a problem. Wim has stopped running. There are still 3 miles to go. can he keep the cold at bay.
It's important that he keeps on moving, and it's getting to him now. It's getting into him now. So he has. It even needs more energy now to keep it out. And you can see it, and he has to keep on moving. But he knows that. It's very difficult to see that somebody who you love is pushing himself so far to feel life, to feel himself. I cannot live every time with a fear that he's going to die.
After 5 hours, Iceman Wim Hof is unable to keep running. But there are still 3 miles to go to the end of the marathon.
Ja, dat is net voor je warmte. Maar je moet een beetje... Oh.
Are you feeling cold?
Yeah, a bit.
How about your
foot?
Just the leg is very simple, heavy. You know what it is?
No.
I don't know what it is.
No, it's okay.
That's what it is.
Okay, let's keep
Okay,
moving.
thank you.
Ga maar mee, no?
Wim appears to have lost his mental focus and slows to a walking pace. His son Noah decides to join him. But this slow pace increases the danger of permanent damage from the cold.
The thing is, you can't cheat with this distance. You gotta go 42 kilometers. Huh? Yeah, and if you do it walking, you stay longer in the cold.
People think they can talk to me and I'm normal, I'm talking. But meanwhile, my body is like, total destructed. It feels like a ruin. But nobody sees that. My physical exertion was so much that it all took all my energy. I could have collapsed then.
Noah's presence seems to be giving Wim a boost, but will it be enough to get him to the finish line?
I found out about energy of my son. I never saw it before, but he's got my energy. For me, he's the little Iceman, but it's my son.
You're almost there! Whoa! I see some light at the end of the tunnel. My beautiful wife is waiting. That's my reward. The love of a woman and a child and many good people. I can't believe it. We did it. Okay, now I like a beer.
There's a beer right here for you, Wim, right behind you.
I think
Nice beer. Cheers. Good fish.
Congratulations.
Right on.
He might have limped across the finish line, but Wim has successfully completed his marathon challenge. He managed to keep the Arctic cold at bay for 5 hours and 25 minutes.
I train people regularly to deal with extreme cold. Wim disobeys all of the rules to do with that, goes way beyond them and continues to survive. Therefore, it's a question of why is he beyond the limit of what the rest of us could achieve.
Cheers. I'm getting better and better and better.
Definitely Wim is an exceptional person with his ability to drive himself into the limits, both physiologically and mentally. How Wim is able to put the pain out of his mind, that is a mystery, and there is no explanation for that.
And now I know I got enough in my mind to make a change, to make a difference. And that's the important thing. This was solely about the mind. I proved that there is mind power. You can make a change, even in the most worst circumstances.
Ja, maar je gaat gewoon op slaap vangen. Niks aan.
The domestic arguments of the previous week are forgotten for now.
Right now, I'm in a full circle of love with my wife and child, and that's very, very important.
But Carolina knows that it will only be a matter of time before Wim sets himself his next challenge.
Good football, eh? Snow football.
No, Wim is Wim, and he's not doing for nothing these kinds of things. That's the way he is. That's the man he is. It's of course not easy, because he has to work out things for himself, and this is his way, by going under the ice or the marathon. And every time he says, "Now I'm going to stop with it, Carolina. You know, this is the final thing." But I know it's not the final thing.
I'm the pioneer in the cold. I think in 10 years my record still will stand. So I'm the Iceman now, and I think I'll still be Iceman in say 10 or 20 years. Geef me een kus.
Turning his culinary hand to Louisiana cook, Jamie's American road trip continues tomorrow night from 9 o'clock. Next tonight, it began in 1974. It's about to conclude in 1983. Dark Red Riding comes to an end.